I was talking about earlier in my presentation, I was talking about how motivation was a barrier for students with an online learning environment because a lot of students are not wanting to take that online class because they fear that since they're not in the traditional classroom, they're going to not have motivation that they typically would. So I think it's important when I talk about this connection that I made with the article Online Technology, Self-Efficacy and Self-Regulated Learning as Predictors of Final Grade and Satisfaction in College-Level Online Courses. It stated that the self-efficacy beliefs, which a self-efficacy is the belief to perform a given task, which accounts for why a person engages in it. So the self-efficacy belief actually equals the motivational influence and effect that an individual has for an action or a performance. So if a person believes that they are not going to be good at an online environment, or if they believe that they're going to be better in a traditional classroom environment, then that is the motivational influence that they will receive. So yes, if you say, okay, I don't think I'm really going to be good at an online learning environment, turns out most likely you're not going to be good at an online learning environment. It's very influenced by your thoughts. So self-efficacy beliefs really in turn affect how your motivation is with an environment, with a task, any type of thing like that. So it's important to have strong self-efficacy beliefs, and this is talked about a lot in this article, which I thought really connected with the main article that I was reading for this assignment. It also talked about how increasing your computer confidence will start to decrease your computer anxiety, which leads to more likeliness that you're going to persist in online courses. So it's very important to have all your learners be very comfortable, be very confident that they're knowledgeable in using the computer, using different technology devices, using the resources that are available. Like I had mentioned earlier in my presentation, Professor Novak definitely has made this a staple in this course. He makes sure that we are confident with the material, with the assignments that we have coming up, with the platform that he decided to use this semester. And I think this was a big push for not having a lot of us be very worried about this course or just an online course in general. So I think that he did a great job with this, and I think as instructors of online classes, maybe in the future, I think it's definitely important to have your students be very confident, be very comfortable with the material, resources, the technology that they're going to be using, because in turn that this will actually help them persist in taking an online course in the future. So students preferring online learning will actually increase their general self-efficacy. So when they prefer to do online learning or online classes, this is actually going to help them with their self-efficacy and believing that they can take these online courses. This is also mentioned in this article, which I think is a great connection to our first main article that I was talking about earlier. It also stated how motivation leads to why students engage in and persist at particular tasks, which I think also leads to say that when a student is motivated or they have a good self-efficacy for an online course, they're more willing to engage in that and persist to continue to take those online courses. So I think it's very important that our students are satisfied with the online environment, with the online e-learning, digital environment that they're going to be partaking in, because in fact that this is going to help them be more likely to be successful in these courses because they have a higher self-efficacy for online learning. So predicting online student performance / success deals with students' ability to monitor, regulate, and manage resources to facilitate their own learning. So this is definitely one of the big factors that we have been talking about. So when you are strong about your online learning environment, when you're comfortable about being in an online learning environment, this actually will start to predict your online student performance and success. So when you're able to monitor, when you're able to regulate, and when you're able to manage these different resources to facilitate your own learning, which is everything required in an online course, this is when you're going to be successful. So I think it's important that we have this mindset brought to our learners that they need to almost develop a sense of independence and being able to monitor when they're going to do these assignments, when they're going to log on and see when they need to be completing different assignments. Like Professor Novak has us go on every Tuesday, and that's the start of our week. So I think just having that known, I go on every Tuesday, make sure I know what's coming up, when do I need to do different assignments, when do I need to be logged on. So this, I think, is very important for having a successful online learning environment. Last point I wanted to bring up about the article that connects to the main article that I had read for this assignment. Achievement in online courses related to the motivation/learning strategies, which were memorization, elaboration, organization, which were more likely to do better than students who use these strategies less often. So the last topic I wanted to bring up that pertains to online learning and is a connection from the main article that we were talking about with the learners. It's important to realize that the achievement in online courses is pertainingly related to motivation/learning strategies, which are memorization, elaboration, organization. Those students that use those types of learning strategies are more likely to do better than students who do not use these strategies frequently. I think it's definitely a big factor when you're organized in an online class, because then you understand when these assignments are coming up. It's not spur of the moment. It's not coming at you fast and you're just overwhelmed. So I think organization definitely, I think, is the biggest one, and I think that seems to be something that a lot of learners may lack. But I also think elaboration and making sure that you're clear and you are very thorough with your answers will help to provide a better online environment, because then that way your peers, also your professor, will understand what you're talking about, understand where you're coming from with your learning. And also memorization is beneficial because sometimes in a learning environment it may be hard to remember what you were learning about in the first week. So just being able to remember and know what you had learned prior would help with just following through with the course, because I know in this course, as well as other courses that I've been taking, a lot of information from the first weeks of school has been brought throughout the course. So it's not something where an online course is like, oh, okay, I just learned this material and then I'm done with it, but rather it's something that's brought on throughout the entirety of the course. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you learned something about being a learner in the online environment, and I hope you enjoyed watching my presentation.